there in YouTube land, all you CIA agents, wannabe spy guys, and KGB likes. I got something interesting for you. Something different. It's not a gun. It is Cold War related. And I think you're going to like it. I've wanted one of these forever, and I finally got one. Check this out. This is a camera. It's a Minox. These are kind of cool. They started off in 1936, and they really haven't changed much through their life. They started by a German guy in Latvia, and his goal was to make a compact, easy-to-carry camera compared to what you used to have back in the day. So if we take a look at this in some detail here, we'll get started. So there's not a lot of controls on these, and they're actually quite simple to use. When you open them up, it winds a little spring inside of here for your shutter. Here you have filters to go over the lens. These are neutral density filters, so for daylight, incandescent, fluorescent, stuff like that, so you can get a well-balanced photograph. And that's just this little sliding bar here. On the top, you have a light meter, shutter speed, shutter itself. This is a counter for how much film's in your roll. And this is your focus setting. This one right now, the focus setting is jammed. So for this video, we're going to have a quick look inside. We're not going to go too deep. I just want to figure out if I can fix that or not. But I will show you how the light meter works, and I will turn on a bright light. How's that for a bright light? Okay, it's a little washed out. But the point is, this little needle here, what you do is you press this button. Okay, that's off the scale. That's too bright. Okay, bring it down a bit. So you see right there, the needle stops at that point. And all you do is you spin this here, and you'll see that wheel is connected with the gear. You line it up to the arrow. You are good to go. And there you go. You can actually see the little shutters work through the... Right. So this thing here, that's your focal length. It goes from infinity to 0.2 meters or 20 centimeters. This chain that it comes with is actually 20 centimeters long, and it's 20 centimeters long. So you can hold your camera up like so, well, actually like that, and you can copy documents. It's kind of cool, huh, guys? It's very spy-like. Let's turn that light off. So this chain comes off. All you do is you push in, and you rotate, well, putting a little bit of pressure, and you'll feel it pop in. And there you go. It's got a little C-shaped thing, and it just pops into that little recess there. So let's have a look on how to get to the inside of these things. First, you start off, and this is kind of cool because you might not know when you get these where the film goes or how the film fits in here. So open it up, push down here, and there you go. That's where your film is. And if we take a look close up, we also see there's a serial number there. That's the way you can date these guys. So this one is probably from around mid to late 1958. First year of production for the Minox B, which is this one here. You can see it's a little on the dirty side. Then you can see the timing settings there and everything like that. And the counter, you'll see that little wheel spin when every time you open and close the case, it advances the film. So keep that in mind, guys. If you do get film for this, if you open it, you got to take a picture, or else you're just going to waste a frame. So something to know. And there you go. The 15 millimeter focal length. This is the light sensor here. So let's get into it, shall we? Open. Just a little tab right there. Press down. Open. And first thing you want to do are get those little screws out there. Those guys have got to go. I'm going to pause for a minute, and I will take those screws out, but I'll show you how. Alright, so what I do is I get these little screwdriver bits here, and you can get them in between, and it only takes a little bit. Sorry guys, this is very tight. So you get it in between there, and it only takes a little bit of a turn to get them started. Once they're started, you don't need this anymore. You can just go by hand. Very hard to see, guys. Sorry about that. Just go by hand. One. Two. These are microscopic, as you guys can see. These are tiny. Put them in a safe place. Now that that's done, you can pop off this end just slightly. You don't have to go far, just slightly like that. And that will slide off. You can give that a good cleaning now that it's off. The one thing you got to be careful with, there is a electrical connection in here that goes off to the photo sensor, and there's a little wire. You guys can see that little tiny bit of copper. Tiny little bit of copper right there. That wire is connected to these posts here. So be careful you don't snap the wire. That's why you don't take this off all the way. So once you got that open, you can see there's another screw here. And this screw has some gunk on it, so you got to be careful. You're going to want to scrape that gunk off. It's not gunk, it's like a Loctite that they use. These things were never meant to be opened, so buyer beware. This doesn't have to come off just yet, but since we're here, I will take it off. I got this nifty little thing my friend gave me for Christmas. Okay, nifty little thing is cool, but it's going to take some manual power. Manpower. There we go. Just do it by hand, guys. These are short too. There you go. Little tiny guy as well. There is one more screw we got to get to before we can pop this top off and have a look at what's going on in here. And that's on the underside. It's very hard to see. Let's see if I can get some more light on this. If you get the light just right, you can see right there. And that's a little weirdo screw. And that's going to be the hardest one to remove. Simply because it's not a standard screw. And it's going to take some tinkering. But I'll let you guys know in a minute how well and what tools you might need to get it out. Or how hard it is. Okay, we're back. I made a bit of an oopsie, but it's not irreversible. So that screw there, the way I got it out was I just took a little sharp screwdriver here, and instead of trying to go for the middle, I get it to the edge and pushed it down and just kept doing that one after the other. There's about 6 of those splines. So what I did wrong, so what that allows you to do is take this case off. But what I did wrong was I accidentally forgot to disconnect this little bar here. And the big problem there is I accidentally pulled out the shutters. And these shutters are incredibly delicate. So there are the shutters there. They're very, very, very delicate. They're thinner than a piece of paper. So they're going to have to be slid back in carefully. The other thing I got to watch out for, I'm kind of glad I did. I didn't want to, but I'm glad I did. Because I can tell you right now, these are dirty. So I'm going to very, very carefully clean them with a bit of solvent to get the extra grease and grime off so they'll slide a little bit better. The whole inside of this thing is dirtier than you would definitely expect. So now that the case is off, you can see that's the end of the screw there sticking through. And it just basically acts like a little stop to hold this in place from sliding out. So, kind of sucks I did that. I just got to be very careful when it comes to reassembly. I don't make any more mistakes. Again, watch out for this cap here, guys. You can see that wire. You don't want that to break. So now that that's off, you can see there's a little hook right there. So what you do is you carefully lift up here, and that will come off. This is gross and sticky. Somebody's been here before me for sure. Now I gotta figure out why this isn't spinning. But you can see there's all the clockwork mechanism. I'm not gonna operate this with it open simply because I don't want to break anything. I'm thinking this looks awful rusty to me. So I'm wondering whether or not something didn't seize in here simply because of the rust. This dial is supposed to lift out. You're supposed to move it to 8, but like I said, this dial isn't moving at all. So I'm going to very carefully work on this and try to get it up and out to the best of my ability. Apparently getting these things out is easy, getting them back in is not. Oh, that's the shutter button, by the way. Watch out for stuff like that. That just sits in that hole there. This sits there. Right, move this aside. I'm going to pause so you don't have to watch me fiddling for 20 minutes trying to get that off. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like when I do get it off. Okay, so there was no real trick to getting this out other than just carefully and gently prying around until it pops up. There is a little spring to watch out for. This little spring sits under there. It's like a little pointer. And I can tell you right now, there's rust all through this. This is not in good shape on the inside. And the other thing I can tell you right too, this is like double-sided tape. It's that sticky. I mean, watch, I'll probably be able to stick this to it. Maybe not. Anyways, guys, this is WD-40. This is what your great-grandfather used. Or hopefully you are not using it, because this is what happens with WD-40. Over time, it oxidizes, corrodes. Not corrodes, it oxidizes, becomes sticky like glue. It is not a lubricant. WD-40 is water displacement, formula number 40. It's designed for drying off wires and stuff like that. So, sucks. A lightweight oil, something like you use for a razor or gun oil, would have been any better option. But you're not supposed to oil these either, because this section here is not waterproof. So if you put oil on the outside of here, it's going to go into the camera mechanism itself, and you are SOL. So now I have to figure out how to clean this thing up, and whether or not I can get things to move in here again. So wish me luck, and I'll be back with another update in a few seconds once I figure out what the process I'm going to use is. Alright guys, so here's what I've decided to do. I've got a couple little bottles here. The most clear one is acetone. That's only in extreme situations, because acetone will dissolve paint, plastic, and pretty much anything it comes in contact with. So that's my last resort. My first resort is bottles. These two little bottles here both have low odor acetone in them. No, acetone, sorry, low odor Varsol, paint thinner, essentially. And I've decided to go with Q-tips. You can see this is just from cleaning up that front plate here. In case you're wondering what that overrange is, I have VOC sensors, air quality sensors, so they're going awesomely because of the Varsol right now. Just a little reminder to let you take a break if the overrange keeps going off for a while at a time. Alright, so like I said, clean it and then dry it, and then I'll be using a bit of this blue stuff here because it doesn't really have any lint on it. And I'm hoping everything will go smoothly and I'll get it cleaned up. I'm going to throw that aside. So I got a bunch of Q-tips. They're cheap, right guys? And I'll show you how much dirt comes off. Just something like the top plate here. Okay guys, so as I was explaining, I got the Varsol and like that. Here's another good example. This is pretty sticky, and this is the outside that's exposed to your skin. So I want to clean this up. I will take, this has one side that's already dirty. Take some of the low odor Varsol. With the Q-tip, just rub. You can see how dirty, how much grease and oil everything is on here still. I think I'm going to go straight up to the acetone. Don't touch any of the markings with the acetone, or you will be sorry. They will disappear on you. Just keep in mind, if you use the acetone, don't get the swab confused. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to toss this completely aside so I don't accidentally pick it up. I'm going to wipe it off here. It's not perfect, but it's not sticky. On the back side here, I don't like how dirty this is. This isn't just dirt. So I'm just going to get in there with the Q-tip and some Varsol. This stuff is engraved, so you don't really have to worry about scratching the writing off on here. I'm gonna pause. Well, you know what? I'll show you this one here. So, remember I was saying these are incredibly delicate. I'm just gonna move this aside. Cleaning these, you're going to have to be incredibly careful because you do not want to bend these in any way whatsoever. So I think for these, I'm going to go straight to the strongest stuff I have. And gently tap it. Gently. You can see those little marks disappearing, hopefully. I can, from my angle at least. Gently. Gently. 90% of the time, if you do have a problem with your camera, it's going to be the shutters are bent. Which is really easy to do, especially when you do things like add WD-40 where it doesn't belong. Different side. Acetone, clean, 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 clean. Try to separate these a little bit. Clean, clean, clean. These should not be lubricated at all, guys. No oil, none whatsoever. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to clean this action bar here. Acetone as well. This is very sticky. It shouldn't be. You can see the dirt coming off of this stuff here. Careful with those shutters. Get up in here. This camera, these cameras are so well made. The tolerances are so tight, so it means the gap in between parts are so tight that oil is enough to clog and jam the device. So use it sparingly, treat it like a watch. It does not need to be soaked. See, I'm having a hard time just putting this down without trying to damage it. There we go. All right, off to the hard part here. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna get in here. I'll give you a before and after. It's gonna be the same technique. Q-tips, Varsol, and a little bit of scrubbing. Alright, coming back for just a quick update here. So I've went much further than I wanted to. I've taken the back part off. Allows me to clean inside there though. Not that I'm planning on taking any photos, but backside is now clean. This piece was very rusted here. That's the part that fits in the back to keep the film flat. Went in here, I cleaned everything up. Bit of a caution. I did use rust and blue remover because there was rust in here, but the parts are also blued, so go sparingly. It's kind of a lighter color. I've taken some of the bluing off in the cleaning process, but the biggest thing is all this. This is how come my focus is not working. This is completely rusted. Like, this thing looks like it's been to sea and back, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I have to get all this out in order to free up this little gear here to allow the lens to come in and out for the focal range. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but I'm still scared about the shutters. This is the shutter housing here. You can see too, it's also very oxidized and needs some serious cleaning before things will start working. This resistor here, you got to be careful because there are these little spacers and stuff like that in here. Little spacers like this, made it looks like oh, I can't think of what it's called now. The flooring stuff, I can't think of what it's called. Mica. Anyway, so I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna try to clean all this stuff up, free everything so it's working, and cross my fingers everything will go back together properly. But you're starting to see the inside of this camera. When I'm done, I will give you a quick 1 minute or less, or a short, on how to actually operate this thing. Alright guys, wish me luck. I'm going back to it, and I'll see you on the clean side. Alright guys, so what I've decided is I gotta just give up. I got it nice and clean. You can see there's an aluminum housing and then there's brass, and all that white was humidity and oxidization, and it has ceased. So this camera is unfortunately stuck at infinity focus. It's not the worst. Infinity is infinity. Like I said, I'm not planning on using it. So hopefully everything goes well, that I can get the shutters back in without damaging anything and without breaking that little resistor. So, reassembly, and I'm not going to make you guys watch me because there's not a lot to see. But I will be back with a bit more. Alright, so I got it back together and cleaned up. That took way more time than I thought it would. So, do I recommend taking this apart? No. Did I fix it? No. Exercise in futility, guys. But it does operate a lot smoother. And it was not easy to put back together. Let's do a long exposure. So it is working well. Go back to my face. Alright guys, so thank you for watching. Sorry it's not as spectacular as I was hoping, but if you like the Minox camera, my advice would be check online, and if you're working on one, feel free to ask questions in the comments below. So please like and subscribe. I know this is slightly out of the ordinary and not the best, but I'm pretty sure I can take my 5-hour day and take it down to a couple minutes. Hope you enjoy it. Keep an eye out for these guys. They're inexpensive, they're cool, and they're a great little piece of history and an amazing part of technology that's been around for quite some time now. And like I said, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I will try to do something a little more entertaining next time. I know I have a thermal camera coming up I want to show you guys. It's really inexpensive from Amazon, so I think you'll enjoy that. That will be a 1 minute or 3 minute short. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you want to see how to actually set the camera and use it. Have a great night. For me, at least.